time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
Yo, let's give it up, everybody, for Friday. It's here. Friday's here. We did it, everybody.
Let's go.
We made it to the weekend. That's right. Hello to Friday. Hello to everybody on the other side over there in the shipping container. I don't know if this crew's worked together yet. Dave, good morning to you out there on the West Coast. Hello, Dave Damashek.
Zaz, company, what's the poop? These are sunny times. Aaron Rodgers is back as well as basketball.
Oh, I could tell you're very excited about Aaron Rodgers being back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But before Memorial Day, what was everybody so worried about?
Why am I being peppered with questions about my musical taste before I walk into the studio here this morning, Mike Ryan? Okay, first I am asked, do I like Radiohead? And, of course, I like Radiohead, all right? I've seen Radiohead several times in concert.
This is the first European band that I know you to like.
All right, I've seen them several times in concert. I used to be a huge A matter of fact, I left this country one time to go see Radiohead in another country. That's a little bit redundant when I say left this country to go see in another country. But nonetheless, I said what I said. I've seen Radiohead several times, and then I feel like I was being judged, not based on my answer, but when you are then putting me on the spot and asking me, do I like Dave Matthews Band?
Yeah, because you look like you like Dave Matthews Band.
Okay, but like...
That's an indictment.
But why are you asking me today, do I like Dave Matthews Band?
You know Ethan, right? Ethan Badowski.
Yeah.
When you take him to a restaurant, doesn't matter how fancy it is, he's going to order chicken tenders. And I think your rock music palette is basically ordering the chicken tenders. Like, you don't know any bands from the greater Manchester area.
I like what I like.
Yes, which is chicken tenders. So I was just curious because Dave had an interesting Radiohead
Are you
take.
telling me Seattle in the 90s is chicken tenders?
It is, yeah.
Come on.
To like Pearl Jam is chicken tenders.
Okay, but it's Pearl Jam and it's Alice in Chains and it's Soundgarden.
Yeah, it was the most popular version of rock at that time. It was chicken tenders.
All right.
But they're great
No
bands.
shout to Nirvana, though.
Yeah, I love chicken tenders too. But if I'm in sometimes I'm in the mood for a nice steak or some sushi.
I like Nirvana, obviously. But unless Nirvana's your favorite band, which I don't know, like, is there anyone today who still says Nirvana's their favorite band? Unless Nirvana's your favorite band, I feel like it's a little bit trite when you are going over the 90s rocks. Oh, love Nirvana. Like, all right, everybody likes Nirvana. I get it. That's
What's the distinction between Nirvana and Pearl Jam? I know Pearl Jam obviously still exists and all that, but what do you think the musical distinction is?
Well, they
you
don't
think Pearl Jam had some enduring sound that eluded Nirvana?
Well, I don't know because Nirvana wasn't around long enough, okay? I don't know if Nirvana would have had this enduring sound if they would have kept creating music after those first...
I feel pretty confident in that one.
Yeah.
How? How do you know? How do you know?
Because
bands break up all the time. How do you know?
Well, because their music still holds up.
Right, but how do you know they would have
they were a three-piece, so their sound was always this garage rock type of style, and that is always going to be a timeless sound.
Oh, I'll push back on that. The evidence available to us is, and obviously Kurt Cobain was the driving force of Nirvana, but Dave Grohl's band, the Foo Fighters, he seems like a nice human being for all he does in the community or for the world at large, philanthropically, but I have yet to hear anybody make a good case that every Foo Fighters song doesn't sound exactly like every other Foo Fighters song. The only distinction between them is when they're plugged in or acoustic. That's how they differentiate their music. Grohl unplugs and he goes acoustic. Otherwise, the songs are indistinguishable. Meantime, how we got into all this conversation is it is in 1997. Yesterday was the anniversary of the release of OK Computer, which I declare, hyperbolically or otherwise, the greatest album of all time. It recently jumped to number 1 on my all-time album rankings list, just jumping past Eat a Peach by the Allman Brothers and Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin and pretty much every other recorded album.
OK Computer is a great album. No one's going to push back against that.
It's not the greatest album of all time because I think you have to be the greatest Radiohead album of all time, and it is certainly a top
Pablo
3.
Honey?
No, I'm a Kid A, and I'm one of those In Rainbows guys. I'm one of those In Rainbows guys. I like In Rainbows best, and then I like Kid A, and then OK Computer.
Okay, can I defend myself, though, for a second about the Dave Matthews Band accusations?
What? Are they not true?
Well, I mean, like, Dave Matthews... Yeah, I guess I like Dave Matthews Band, but they had been forever my wife's favorite band. My wife got me into Pink Floyd when we started dating when we were younger. Guys? They were her favorite.
This entire segment, please.
Oh, my God.
How many flip-flops do you have that have a beer opener on the bottom?
Whatever,
How many toe rings in the crowd? Notice he pled the fifth on that one.
My wife got me into Pink Floyd, and then eventually Dave Matthews Band. Now... They're not they're still her.
Rangy music tastes for your wife.
Who did that?
That was me.
White woman, white.
She probably likes Drake.
So we used to go see Dave Matthews Band every summer. They're always here every summer. We have not been in a few years. All right, we're not as into it as, and she is not into it as much. And I could take it or leave it. I've seen them enough. Like I don't need to see them again.
Dude, there was this
Is she
video.
into the Florida Panthers? Is she? Because as a make good, since you're into Dave Matthews on her behalf, apparently, does she return the favor?
She likes going with me. Like she's not going to sit around and watch the Panthers on the very uncomfortable Zaslow Mansion family room couch. Which, by the way, we're getting closer and closer to having a new couch sponsored. If you are interested, hit me up. My DMs are open. But anyway, yeah. So we're not like I asked my wife. Actually, it was a few days ago. I said to her, do you want to go see Dave Matthews Band this month? Because it's, I think, next week. And she's like, no, not interested. I'm like, okay, fine, no big deal.
Dave Matthews Bands are there. Jesus. He's always down here playing West Palm.
Yeah.
Where everyone's just wearing cargo shorts, backwards hats, flip-flops, and just bouncing from side to side.
So Zaz.
Yeah,
None of the music makes sense.
It's bad. But there was this video. I guess Dave Matthews Band played Magic Kingdom.
What?
And I saw all these videos from it, and I was like, man, I could not concoct a worse place for me to be.
What if Dave Matthews and Eddie Vedder did a duet? That would really sound like something.
That would never happen.
Like that.
I almost got into a fight at a Dave Matthews concert. It's true.
Details, please.
With Romberg?
No, with Romberg. That was with Slipknot. Yeah. Romberg almost got into a big fight when we saw Slipknot, and that was going to go so poorly for me. It would have went fine for him, but it went really poorly for me. But I almost got into a fight at a Dave Matthews show. Like we were, all right, whatever. You
stepped on my flip flop.
Okay, you're really close. So we're
Play hacky sack over there.
well, no, this is during the show. No one's playing hacky sack during the show. Okay.
You can't say that with certainty.
So you're right.
It was West Palm on the lawn.
You're right.
There was some hacky
Those
sack.
lawn
being
seats
played.
are very affordable. You're right. There's
Put it on
probably...
the poll. If you're on the lawn in West Palm Beach, is there hacky sack being
Oh,
played?
I put my beach towel here. This is my spot of the grass.
You know, there are certain areas now on the lawn that are reserved.
Yeah.
It's not the free for all it used to be.
Oh, I hate that place. I rarely go to that venue. Now I just do seats. And nice little secret, they have like this little mid club area.
Yeah.
With like
It's
little
great.
patio furniture.
Yeah.
You go the day of the concert and upgrade your tickets. It'll cost you like $40. I did that for Big Boy and Kid Cudi. 3 seats got upgraded. Was in my own little patio section.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like a little Sun Sports pregame show.
That's the venue where Tony and I both went and saw Alanis Morissette.
I was taken against my will.
Hold on a second. All right.
I was
Let-
taken
Not
against my
together.
Oh,
Yeah, no, we didn't go together.
okay.
But that would have been awesome. I would have loved to teach him about Jagged Little Pill.
I sat in those sweet seats one time at the amphitheater for a comedy festival there. I had those seats. It was wonderful. Anyway, you do get to a certain age where it's like, I can't be in the lawn anymore. I have to be in seats.
Because you might get in a fight.
Yeah, okay, well, the fight that I almost got into at Dave Matthews Band, we were actually in the pit, okay? So it was right up front, right in front
That's
of
my
the stage.
cooler of hard lemonades. Beat it.
So it was one of those deals where, like, stupid drunk college kid who was there with his girlfriend and kept bumping into my wife. And, like, what am I supposed to do in that spot? Kept bumping into her, like, once, twice, to get to the place where, like, kind of gently shove him off. And then, like, by the third time, all right, now he needs to get shoved. And I need to,
Hey, you want to get a room?
and I need to let him know what's what. Now, I will tell you, because I don't know if you know, my stature, I'm not a big guy, all right, and
But for a Dave Matthews Band concert, like above average.
yeah, I
a bit
wasn't
stout.
gonna be afraid of anyone.
You're one of the tougher guys.
I wasn't gonna.
Pushed him in your flip flops?
That's why I like going to Dave Matthews Band, because they all make me look tough. All right. I will admit that when I was in this guy's face now and I was ready for whatever, with my opposite hand, I did tap my other friend who was there with his wife, okay? And he's a big guy. He's a former baseball player, like a former professional baseball player. And I did tap him just so he could be aware of the happenings right now. I got a little bit more courage.
Just go
at
to
that
this
point.
venue with former athletes
I do.
as backup.
That's right. I do. So anyway, there
How
you go.
old were you when you tried to fight
Zaslow and Wayne Gretzky has his Semenko with him.
How old was I
Marty
when
McSorley.
When you tried to fight this college kid, how old were you?
I would say this was 10 years ago. So I was mid-30s. Yeah.
You feel good about that?
What? I had to defend my wife. And you know what? I take it back. He was probably like mid-20s. But at that point, whatever. If someone who's mid-20s steps to you,
14.
not going to back down.
Yeah. No one touches my wife unless I say so. And I sit down over there.
How dare you?
Kid was there celebrating his bar mitzvah, and Zaslow's getting in his face.
Did the option of
kid.
you switching seats with your wife actually pop up in your
Well, it
head?
wasn't seats. We were in the
It's a pit.
Yeah, we were in the
Oh,
pit.
it's
So
a
we're
pit.
standing the whole time.
And you know how the pit goes at a Dave Matthews Band concert.
Oh, yeah, that's
They
right.
can get rough,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't understand what goes on with that Dave Matthews Band. Who is this? This creep, this vain, this narcissist, Dave Matthews, who says the whole band is named after me. And why doesn't anyone else push back in the band? They've all been in the band for however long, a quarter century. That's not enough. That's not enough time under your rule, Dave Matthews. You creep. You evil man, dictating to me that I'm in your band. Now, we're all in a band together, friend.
All right. There you go. Didn't expect the show to
You know what
open this
happened to me
direction.
the other day?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something very quickly. If you're talking about confrontations,
Quickly.
the other day I'm pulling onto the 101 freeway here in Los Angeles, and the guy in front of me is not moving quickly enough for my taste. On the other side of the street is a cop car. He's writing a ticket to somebody for a traffic violation. The guy, as I'm trying to get onto the ramp to get onto the freeway, is very slow in front of me, start and stop. He's on his cell phone the whole time. So much so that I'm gesticulating wildly, and then I'm honking my horn and otherwise. And now he stops his car in the road before the ramp and gets out of his car, not seeing the cop across the street writing the ticket. And he holds up a badge and he says, "Stop tailgating me, MFer." And then realizes as he says that, oh, there's a real cop right across the street there. He's now flashed a badge. He's just a random guy doing that. And I say to the cop, "You see that? He just showed me a fake badge." The cop's across the street, so he doesn't follow what's happening there. The guy realizes though, I better get out of here. And he jumps in his car and he jumps in the freeway and is weaving in and out of traffic. And I'm trying to follow him to take a picture of his license plate. What should I do here? I now have an image of this guy's license plate who claimed to be a cop. Do I turn him in?
Okay, hold on a second. Was anyone else in the car with you?
Yes.
Your child?
It was a child.
Was it your child?
No, it was Dave Matthews' child. Whose child?
Okay,
do
but
you think
I
it was?
said, was it your child? And your response was,
Yes,
it was a child.
Was it Hoover or
No, it
was
was
it
the kid
Jean-Claude?
you almost kicked the ass of for touching your wife. What do you mean? Yeah, it was my child.
Chris is a child.
Flashing a badge. Don't tailgate me, MFer. Do I think that you're a cop when you tell me don't tailgate you, MFer?
So-
hold up a badge at me?
Dave, did you just decide you're going to chase this guy and not
Yes.
and not explain it to the child in the car after you, I guess, suspended your chase? Did you explain what was going on? Did your child
As
put it
you
together?
can imagine, Dave provided a running commentary of what was going down in the moment, so the little one in the back seat knew. And they were a part of it. You know, they were my deputy in that moment. I deputized.
Get him!
I don't know. I don't know what you should do.
Outrageous, right?
I don't know what you should do in that spot, but I like that the child that you had in the car with you was not afraid. That's important.
No. We were rocking. We did an up tempo Dave song, to really get our juices.
Oh, so
flowing.
while you were
While
you were following, like you put on some tunes.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. That's interesting.
Soundtrack.
That's interesting. We'll
Baby Driver.
We'll get to the basketball from last night as the Knicks went up 2-0. We got basketball tonight, Game 3. Series shifts to San Antonio. But there continues to be rumors. If we're talking about the NBA, there continue to be Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors, all right? And apparently, if you look on these, you look on some of the wagering sites, some of them have the Miami Heat as the prohibitive favorite to land Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, there's certainly something to be said for the idea of, do you give up all these players, do you give up all these assets for just Giannis Antetokounmpo when you see what San Antonio's doing, when you see what Oklahoma City's doing? Heck, even when you see what's going on with New York. I mean, does acquiring Giannis put you in a position where you think you're competing with one of those teams? But what if I were to tell you you could acquire Giannis and maybe there's another superstar that you could wind up acquiring? Like, for instance, what if because Masai Ujiri is shaking things up in Dallas, could I interest you in a Kyrie Irving? Not instead of Giannis, but what if you find a way to get both? Is that something that would interest you?
Man. All right. This one's an interesting one because Kyrie's what's his salary cap number?
He will
40, hair under 40, I think.
It's 39.5 million, and then he'll have a player option for the following season at 42.4.
I guess you can get him cheap. You just need to make salaries work out, right? But I'm over here worried about Giannis's body. I mean, Kyrie's body gives out on him all the time. Remember, he missed the finals pretty much against the Celtics, right? He's always hurt. But that's probably the type of guy you need to target if you're looking to add a third star to Bam and Giannis. And that's an attainable one because you're probably going to be depleted some assets here, right? So that's the kind of star that you're looking at. It's interesting. I mean, your season will be undone by injury, but you have the off chance that if they're all healthy at the same time, You have the interior defense and, honestly, perimeter defense of Bam. Both of them come out and can guard the perimeter right now. And Kyrie was no slouch. We'll see what he is. It might be worth a shot.
Last time Kyrie played 60 games was 22-23. Other than that, 40-20, 58-50.
Yeah, I
And then
mean,
didn't play this year.
health would be a huge part of that. Health would be a huge part of if a third guy you were going after was Kawhi Leonard. Health would be a big thing if you were going after 42-year-old LeBron James. Like, no matter what, health is going to be a thing. Health would be a thing with Ja Morant. But that's also part of why the trade and free agent markets for these guys all seem to be relatively depressed from what you would expect for the names that we're talking about.
Would you rather have Kyrie or Ja?
Ja.
Really?
Ja.
Okay, hold on. That's interesting.
That's an interesting
You
little
said Ja.
proposition.
I was like, wait, that's another superstar that I can get on the cheap. And yes,
I
there's
think
some
Ja
injury
Morant would
concerns.
come cheaper than Kyrie Irving.
It's 'cause he has
believe it or
more money
not.
attached to
even
him as
though
well.
even though he's significantly younger. I think Dallas would want to I think Memphis just wants to get rid of Ja Morant, while I think Dallas would want a little something in return.
Now, we have to keep in mind, both Kyrie, because the Miami Heat were considering Kyrie, I think I recall these reports correctly, and they decided against it, given Mickey Harrison.
This is when he was back in Brooklyn.
And this is when Kyrie was going through it.
Different time.
He is settled down.
It was a different time.
And the Miami Heat had the discussion very recently on Ja Morant and decided against it. So right now we're hypothetically identifying two stars that are risk-reward type of dudes that the franchise has already decided at least one time in their history that's not for us, but it might have to be considering how much they give up for a guy like Giannis.
It depends on what you ultimately are able to get Giannis for, if you're able to get Giannis. Like, I don't want to assume the close there. I've been burned by this before. But if the Heat were able to pair Giannis with Bam Adebayo, then you end up in a situation where you go, okay, we've set ourselves up purposefully for this season and for next.
Yeah,
Next
it
to be free agent money.
becomes a right now thing.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it becomes right now, and you have guys who are, either Andrew Wiggins opting out of a deal or as a potential sign-and trade in that scenario, or an expiring deal. You'd have Norman Powell as a potential sign-and trade, so there's money to play with.
Zaz, what do you do?
okay. Are you asking me would I be interested in Kyrie Irving or are we doing Kyrie or Ja?
I mean, either way, like
Okay.
they come with some risk, but I think with how the lottery broke for Miami, now I'm kind of more in on the Giannis thing, where before I was kind of in on this lottery pick, but
I
they
think
didn't
you
get a
want
great
the
pick.
Heat. I think you want the Heat to do something. You want them to shake it up in some fashion. You want to be excited for next season in some way. I think that's probably where you stand. So I'm in on them acquiring Giannis, especially if it means that they don't have to give up everything that you thought that maybe they would have to give up at the trade deadline. If the temperature around the league on Giannis Antetokounmpo is in fact lukewarm, then yeah, that's your quintessential Heat move, where you try and pounce on a disgruntled player, a disgruntled star, and you can get him when the atmosphere around the league is lukewarm on him. That's a Heat move. So yes, I'd be good with them doing that.
When you heard that report that the market has been lukewarm, and obviously Bill Simmons
That makes me
and Zach
more
Lowe
interested
talked
in
about
Giannis.
it on the pod a couple of days ago, it was like, oh, wait a second. If people are lukewarm on it, and you can maybe get a little bit less of an offer, like that's a very interesting situation. Now you have to backfill the roster. Norman Powell becomes super interesting because that redundant skill set of him and Tyler. Tyler's gone.
Yeah.
You need Norman Powell back in.
Yeah, and I would I think that there are going to be guys out there that you can also acquire. Maybe it's a Ja Morant, which is something that was talked about, by the way, back in January or February. Can the Heat acquire both of those guys? I think if you're going to do it, do it. Go out there and acquire that second guy. If we're talking about would I be more interested in Ja Morant or more interested in Kyrie Irving, that one's tough. I think I'd be more interested. Ja can't shoot.
He can't shoot worth a lick.
Can't shoot.
And he hasn't gotten to the rim
But
like he
on the
has
other
in
hand-
past years.
Then again, Kyrie hates the Jews, so it's like 6 of
That
one,
is
half dozen of
something
the other.
that sticks out to
Does
me.
make my job more difficult.
Yeah, that is something
But
that
he's got great handles, though, guys.
I know, but
Best
yeah, it's
handles
true,
in
Dave.
history.
Then that's
know
the
about
other.
those
You know what? I'm
handles.
good with great handles,
Yeah.
anti-Semite.
On behalf of the Jews, come on down.
you don't speak for us.
I don't think you can
Wow,
speak
he
for
can't.
You don't
Can
speak
he do
for
that?
us.
Yeah, I
you
can
got
do that.
one
The
in
Semitic
there.
warrior?
Yeah,
You
we're
don't
good, right?
speak for
Yeah, you
us.
got another one over there.
No. That
Okay.
is You do not speak for all of us. Last night, the New York Knicks pull away in the second half. They go up 2-0 on the Cavaliers. You know we're going to get all of the series is over stuff, and that makes me nuts. You know why that makes me nuts, Dave Damashek? It makes me nuts because there's seemingly people who say that this series is over, and you're going to get that all day today on television and on radio, that this series is over. There's a difference between the series being over and believing the Knicks are going to win. I believe the Knicks are going to win this series the same way I believe the Knicks were going to win the series before it began. But you can't say that the series is over before Cleveland's even played a home game. I mean, Cleveland was down 0-2 to Detroit. And then they won the next 3 games, including the next 2, which were at home. But we're going to count Cleveland out before they even play a home game. That's going to make me nuts all day today, Dave. People declaring this series is over. I hate that. It's a major pet peeve of mine.
I hear you, and I have asked some people before a Super Bowl if it's a must-win game, and so we get fast
That's a good
and
question.
loose with these terms. Yeah, well, we get fast and loose with the idea of like it's over, but I think what you're pointing at is ultimately accurate. This is a very tall mountain for a team to climb with James Harden trying to defend the score of the other team throughout. It does seem unlikely that the Cavs are going to rally here, but I take your larger point. I appreciate it, in fact. By the way, just very quickly, I don't want to get back to 3 minutes ago, but Giannis, if you get, and assuming LeBron is not pursued by the Lakers, isn't that the
Yes.
formula that makes the most sense? Luka with Giannis. Then I'm with you on the Heat, that Giannis doesn't make them rightly a contender in the East. Just plugging Giannis into what they have going isn't enough to compete with the high end. You put Giannis with Luka for at least a season or two, now I'm in.
Why would
Now I'm
he
interested.
ever go to the West?
Yeah, I mean,
why
Dave,
would he ever want that?
Do you see what's going? Do you see who plays for San Antonio? Like,
Why
why would
completely,
any player
completely
want to
get
go
it?
to
I'm
the
just
Western
talking about
Conference?
if you're talking about on a piece of paper, what is a compelling core. If you keep Austin Reeves plus Luka plus Giannis, okay, now that has the makings of a team that viably could make a deep playoff run, right? No matter who else is out there. I get what's going on with Wemby and OKC and otherwise, but that's the West, and that's been the story for 30 years.
So I went into the game last night very transparent about what I was hoping for, and that was for James Harden to just have another embarrassing game too, because I like that narrative. I like that storyline. I don't like the player. I don't like how he plays. And, he was fine last night. He wasn't good, but
I don't know.
It wasn't terrible.
I don't know. We talked about on the alley-oop last night, me, Tristan, Juju. We were
He didn't do
doing post-show.
anything.
If you look at his counting stats, you're going to be fooled and think, oh, he had an okay game. A lot of those...
He had 2 assists. It's
he had
nothing.
2 assists, no turnovers finally. But when you look at his stat line, went 6 for 15. He had a couple of shots that went in.
He was good in
towards
the
end of
first half.
game, but he was 2 for 14 halfway through the game. It just wasn't good.
Well, that's not true. Because I think he was 4 of 8 at halftime. He was
At
fine
halftime,
in the
though. I'm
first
talking
half.
about third quarter.
Yeah. He didn't do anything in the second half. The first half, he was all right. He didn't do anything in the second half. So, he had a nothing game. All right, he really did. He was like a nothing last night. If Adam Silver was at the game last night, he walked up to James Harden. He said, "Welcome to the club." He had a nothing game last night. New York, though,
He's fat, though. That's the excuse, You have to give him some grace there. He's heavy set.
and Adam Silver is very thin. I mean, you've seen him, right? Look a little bit gaunt. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Josh Hart last night with 26 points had the monster game. But I want to show you this. So, they pan to the celebrities all throughout the game. I love that celebrity row in New York. I love the dynamics, Dave, of the celebrity row where, if you are a celebrity, if you are a movie star, TV star, what have you, you want to go to the Knicks game. You say to your agent, right? You're like, hey, see what kind of tickets we can get. And what if you come back and you're offered with, because they don't purchase these seats, the Knicks have the seats and they give them to you. Hey, come sit, celebrity row. What if you're given row B? What's the tipping point for what's kind of celebrity you have to be? Where, all right, I'll sit row B, or it's, I can't be seen in row B. I got to sit row A.
It is a I'll post images. I'll take my boys to a ball game or whatever, and people, randos on social media, will weigh in like, "That's the seat you got. You didn't get better seats than that." People critique where I'm sitting. The world has become more and more, if you aren't aware, about the haves and have-nots, and the haves are about 24 people, through which all the rest of us are supposed to live vicariously. Ben Stiller happens to be one of those people, and we're all supposed to swoon because he has an HD image of James Harden in close-up at MSG, and we're all supposed to, like I say, swoon over this because, of course, we're no longer that's no longer accessible to any of the rest of us. There is Kevin Hart, there's The Rock, there's Ben Stiller, and a short list of other people, like I say, through which we will experience the world.
So here, as Dave Damashek mentions, for the visual audience, Ben Stiller is sitting celebrity row, and that's video that he's taking.
Beautiful video.
Well, yeah, but I don't get that. He's at Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's just like, let me take out my phone and start record. You're at the game. Why didn't you record? Or is there going to be a moment? What's his wife's name again? Christine Taylor? Is that her name? All right. I mean, she's a big-time actress. I want to make sure I get her name right. Is there a time where they're sitting like, "Hey, Christine, let's watch the video I took from the game. We were sitting first row." Like, really? I don't understand that.
For whom? Right. That's exactly right. The question is always that I have whenever you are, seeing the great sights of Europe or the Bayou or San Francisco or otherwise. What you ask the exact question, Zaslow, that is absolutely, what are you doing with that video? For whom is it? Like, do you scroll back through it in 10 years? I don't think you do. So basically, drop the camera and experience. Drink it in with your actual eyeballs, because this video that you think future you is going to enjoy does not exist, right?
I do understand what you're saying, where if you go to a sporting event and you post a picture and then you'll get the messages where it's like, wow, those are the best seats you can get. I remember going back, this is like a dozen years ago, when I was doing the morning show here in Miami on 790 The Ticket with Joy Taylor, and she went to Marlins opening day. It's like it's obvious, it's the only day of the year where there's gonna be a lot of people there, and she was sitting in the upper deck in center field. Upper deck, center field. And she posted the picture too. Hey, having a great time, Marlins open day. You know what I told her? I said, "You're embarrassing the show." I said that to her. So what are you doing? You're embarrassing the show. Center field's one thing, okay? Outfield, you're Joy Taylor. You're sitting in the outfield, upper deck. You're embarrassing my show.
It's so far from where home plate is too. It's like a mile long.
Yeah, that's right.
But at football, this is the one I'm thinking of. I took me and Jean-Claude Van Dameshek went over to see Ben Roethlisberger's last game with the Steelers when they paid a visit to the Chargers in SoFi, and we were up high at the 50, which is where I like to sit to see football games, and that people reacted to that.
You like to
Those
sit
are
at the 50?
You got?
You like to sit at the 50?
What I like to do is I like to sit up high. The basic rule is, I think we can all agree, is football up high, hockey up high, down low, up close, baseball, basketball.
How high, though?
That's the basic rule.
How high?
I mean, I like to see the whole field. I like to see it play out. I like the all 22, if you will.
How high?
Is this a bit you're trying to do?
No!
I think you're trying to set me up.
No, like, are you going to sit at the top row in the upper deck?
What is the measurement? 600 level? Is that relatable? Is that a universal reference? 600?
You know what? That's too high. If you're in the 600 level, if you told me you're going to the game tonight, I say, where are your seats? You go, 600 level. Like, buddy, get some better seats.
What are you, at home?
I mean, listen. Like I say, not for basketball. I don't want to be up there. That doesn't suit my interests. But yes, football, hockey. I want to see the whole thing. Basketball, the quickness. That's the appeal of that. Is the speed at which they play. It's jaw dropping. I don't need to see where all 10 guys are. It's pretty easy for my eye to drink all of that in. Same goes for baseball. I want to see the pace of the pitches and otherwise. Football, I can be way high up there and track the whole thing.
I just think it's interesting that your preferred area to sit is the 50-yard line. That's That's
Where
interesting.
should it be? And for football, where should it be? The end
Of course
zone?
it should be the 50-yard line, Dave. That's
Yeah,
not unique.
right.
Yes, of course it should be the 50-yard line.
Well, but I wasn't bragging about that. I wasn't trying to make a point, a distinction. Of course, the only place to sit for football is the 50-yard line if you have a choice,
The
right?
only place to sit.
Now in hockey,
I like behind the
good
goal.
choice is a lot of people behind the goal.
Yep.
The team that you're rooting for shoots at twice. That's
Well,
of
that
course,
goes
the
without
important thing.
saying. No
Right.
one's ever said to their kid, "Where do you want to sit? Would you like to sit on the shoot one side?" No, it's always the shoot twice side. Yes, of course.
I think people who lack attention to detail might buy tickets and say, "Oh, we're behind the goal." Like, you have to ask the question: is it the one that we're rooting for? Are they shooting at it twice? Of course.
Isn't it amazing? By the way,
everybody's not expert like you, Zaslow. I'm a man of the people. I'm trying to provide some counsel for people, and you're jumping to the end of the story as though everybody's up to speed like you are.
Isn't it amazing, by the way? Like, you're saying where you prefer to sit. I'm being serious now. You're saying where you prefer to sit for a game. I'm saying where I prefer to sit for the game. The youngins, the Utes, all right, who are listening and watching right now, isn't it crazy to think back? There was a time where, and not that long ago, where you would buy tickets to a sporting event and, like, you didn't really get to pick where your seats were. You would say to the person who's behind the glass, like, what do you have available? And she's like, oh, I got 10th row, on the 10-yard line. Like, they wouldn't tell you it's on the aisle. It was just like, all right, I'll take those tickets, Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
You didn't get
this
to
time.
pull up Ticketmaster online and look at the blue dots and pick which ones you want to sit in. Like, I want 2 tickets. I hope they're good seats.
You don't remember box offices?
Yeah.
Of course I remember a box office, but I don't remember being in a position to not know where
Yeah.
my seats were.
Yeah, just like, hey,
I would at least
give me
ask, like, hey, is it on the aisle? Is it in the middle of the row?
No,
Like,
you know what
anything?
would happen? You would go and you'd have to say, give me 2 of your best available. That's what it was. Best available. And I mean, the seats could be anywhere. What a time to be alive.
Is it still foreign to young, or has it become foreign to young people, the idea of going to a movie and just going into the theater and then finding your seats? Is it assumed for younger people that you know where you're going to be sitting?
What the hell are you
before
guys
get
talking
into-
about?
Miami is covering up public records that would show how much taxpayer money they're spending. We talked to the journalist who's trying to dig them up, and to Richard Lamondon, the candidate for Florida Senate, who's challenging incumbent Alexis Calatayud. I'd say no relation, but she's totally Tony's sister. And Roy, tell us how we can watch along with the hockey show.
Yeah, the hockey show has a live watch along for the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's happening every week throughout the end of the postseason. So take a look at it at the Hockey Show DLS on YouTube and on the Dan Le Batard Show YouTube page as well.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-wah!
I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's no, it's the famous actor, and I gotta pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro,
No.
but I think it's
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's A Few
That's
Good
the one I
Men,
bought.
and that's A Few
brutal.
Good Men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's
That
not,
is
you're not
brutal.
man enough to know the truth. I
you
can't.
can't handle the truth.
Still no.
That's
Don't know?
it's a different
Damn it.
movie.
Seriously?
Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
That's
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get. I
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on
Raging
the poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a dolphin.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
you already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And
You're not man enough.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
So I did afternoon drive on ESPN radio yesterday. I'm doing it again today. And I don't know, it was around like 6 p.m.-ish or a little bit before 6 p.m. I saw, while on air, I'm scrolling around on Twitter or whatever, and I saw Kyle Busch passed away. See a lot of R.I.P. Rowdy trending. I guess that was his nickname, Rowdy. I didn't even know that. And
From Days of Thunder.
And I saw NASCAR. I saw the tweet from NASCAR that they actually put out, how they're saddened and heartbroken that Kyle Busch has passed away at 41 years old. And so we went to commercial break on ESPN, and I said to the producers, I go, hey, this is not my wheelhouse, but are you guys seeing this Kyle Busch news? Because this is a pretty massive deal. And so we had to mention, of course, Kyle Busch passing away at the age of 41 years old. Details are still very sketch. We don't really know what happened out there. But I will tell you, as someone who doesn't know NASCAR very well at all, I know who Kyle Busch is. Like, I know Kyle Busch. I know that name. I know he did a lot of winning. I know he was like a bad boy. He was very controversial, and which, of course, I'm sure makes you very, very popular. So even someone who doesn't know a ton about NASCAR, I knew right away this is a really big deal, this guy passing away. Mike, you are a resident gearhead here on the show, and do I have it right there, the little that I know about Kyle Busch? This is a guy who did a lot of winning and also was a very polarizing racer.
Yeah, and I think I kind of came around on Kyle Busch during this stretch of his career where he was this surly veteran that still had the same kind of competitive fire, same kind of abrasive attitude.
Because when he was young, he was like crazy, right?
But he was also super successful, and he's a bit of a vagabond. He's raced for a lot of different teams, though he's most remembered for the iconic number 18 M&M's car. That's where he did the majority of his winning, a two-time Cup Series champion. But I liked this whole storyline that was around him over these last few seasons. It's been a while since he's won a race. What can he do? And he had such bad luck for long stretches. Something would always go wrong with him. But he was also taking up these rivalries with young, brash drivers that were kind of replicating his style, and it was cool to see. He had a great rivalry, a war of words with Denny Hamlin this season, an iconic rivalry with Brad Keselowski when he was at the height of his powers as well. And this was truly heartbreaking. Denny Hamlin made the comparison to Kobe Bryant. Our sport lost its Kobe Bryant. And that is a bang-on comparison when you consider the winning and the ability to wear the black hat. Kyle Busch would often quote this famous saying about to lead an orchestra, you have to be comfortable with turning your back on the crowd. And he kind of embraced this villain role. There's this great bit of merch. I took a picture of it when I was in Talladega. It's very popular. Kyle Busch is a douchebag. There's a shop. There's a whole Facebook group. It's a big meme. Kyle Busch is a douchebag.
That's on the merchandise.
Yeah, and there's all these funny clips like, why do I hate Kyle Busch? The same reason I hate Nickelback. The internet tells me to. Kyle Busch was asked about Kyle Busch as a douchebag, and he loved it because he gets people caring. And when he would often invoke that cliche about leading an orchestra, turning your back to the crowd, there was a point in time where he cared about what people thought, and then he was super successful, winning all these races, and he reveled in being the bad guy. He had his sarcastic bow celebration after he won many, many races. And this is really sad. I remember yesterday, Tony was saying it next to me. I'm like, wow, that's weird. This news of Kyle Busch is severe illness. That sounds bad. He's not racing at Charlotte this weekend. What's happening here? And then my heart sank when I saw the news, like any NASCAR fan, because this is an active Cup Series driver, a legend, comparable to Kobe Bryant in other sports. This is a great personality, too. One of the iconic personalities in the sport. So many iconic moments where it's spinning out Dale Earnhardt Jr., getting in physical altercations, crashing with his brother. He had a rivalry with his brother. Things happened on the track against Kurt Busch that they wouldn't speak together. They wouldn't speak to one another for almost a year.
Have we heard from him yet over the last,
heard from
24
Kurt.
hours?
So like all of this is super eerie. And like you mentioned, this is a 41-year-old man who loved his son Brexton so much. He has a daughter too. His son Brexton started racing at 5 years old, and there's so many great heartwarming videos of Kyle and his son Brexton together. In fact, Kyle was go-kart racing with Brexton just 2 days ago. Kyle wasn't feeling well over these last few days, and there was this interesting tidbit from the race broadcast at Watkins Glen about 11 days ago where he says this over the comms.
Kyle Busch has been suffering from a sinus cold all week. Lost 5 spots on that pit stop. He has asked to have medical attention available after the race. Here's his radio.
And can somebody try to find Bill Heisel? He's the Hendrick doctor guy. Tell him I need him after the race, please. Hey, do you want Mr. Bill at your car and at your bus after the race? Bus. I'm gonna need a shot. Copy. He'll be at your bus.
Now, what does that mean? Going to need a shot?
I don't know. He needed medical treatment. He was feeling odd. Now, again, this
But when he says that, going to need a shot, it sounds like he's telling you that he knows he's dealing with something.
He's dealing with something, and they say on the broadcast, they speculate it's a sinus type of headache. You have to keep in mind, if you have any kind of sinus issues or anything going on in your head, the G-force that these drivers deal with, all that G-force compressing on your body, on your head, it's got to make all those things so much worse. Now, Kyle, despite not feeling well at Watkins Glen, he raced a full slate last weekend at the Monster Mile. He even won a race a week ago, a Truck Series race. And this was Kyle Busch. And now, in this post-race interview, had an iconic quote. This is going to be one of the quotes that he's remembered for.
And a bow in front of the fans that are all on their feet down here at the Monster Mile. And Michael Waltrip said earlier in the race that a confident Kyle Busch is a dangerous Kyle Busch. Your 69th victory in this series, your 5th right here. Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is.
All right, that's ominous.
That's chilling. Yeah, I just got goosebumps listening to that. Now, I've been watching all these videos back, and he had been making regular appearances. NASCAR drivers often have their week, loaded with promotional appearances, and you could tell like he's not feeling well, keeping his distance a little bit, putting a hand up. And the latest report is, again, this is a very murky story right now, and there's been a lot of crazy rumors on the internet. The best I can tell so far from the internet is that he was driving a simulator yesterday and was found unresponsive. Like, he passed out and something happened. Now, you piece that together with the sinus pressure that he was feeling in his head, the suddenness of all of this, and the working reports out there from some reputable people, but again, internet land, that he might have had an aneurysm. And that would just make the signs of the pressure in his head make a little bit more sense. And that's how you can piece together, how does a 41-year-old man, still active in his career, pass away so suddenly, so tragically? I wept last night. This is a great personality. My buddy College Mike caught beads from him in Talladega when he was out at the Talladega float party on Friday, having the time of his life. He was a great character, a great villain, so much so that, you know, you're a wrestling fan. Sometimes you end up rooting for the heel. You come around. This guy's such a badass. This guy's so comfortable being this guy that I was one of those people. I came around. I'm wearing my Rowdy Busch shirt right now. This is really, really sad, and it's been a while since an active icon in the Cup Series has passed away. Going into this weekend, the story in motorsports was it's Indy 500 week, and Catherine Legg is going for the double, and now everything has changed. I saw the Indianapolis Motor Speedway already has a tribute to Kyle Busch. Kyle's brother Kurt was one of the now 6 drivers that attempted the double in one day, racing the Indy 500 and then the 600 in Charlotte. NASCAR typically lands these moments. They're really emotional. The show does go on in that sport. This one is probably the biggest loss this sport has felt since Dale died, because of him still being active and such a big personality. And the videos of him and his son are just so touching and now heartbreaking. And you knew that Kyle Busch was going to be around the sport for decades to come, even after he retired, because he's such a great personality, and you knew his son was going to come up through the ranks. And now that is taken away from his son, his family, and NASCAR fans too. And it's kind of weird when you're talking about a guy who was known for being this jerk and would always go at the fans, that the fans never had an opportunity to tell them how they actually felt about having this bad guy in their life, this personality in their life, and now it's too late.
To that point, like when you made that, I think it was Denny Hamlin, you said, made the Kobe comparison, we got to see Kobe post-career get to be someone who was the family man, you know, coaching his daughter, you know, who also, tragically passed. And it was one of those things where it was so shocking because you did have these people who viewed Kobe as this jerk competitor, and then you turn around and at least we had a few years where people got to appreciate the softer side. And to have someone who was still actively in the midst of the career like this, I mean, someone who, I don't know anything about NASCAR, but Kyle Busch is a name and even a personality that I know just through like watching SportsCenter as a kid. And so I knew immediately when I saw the news, oh, let me text Mike, because as someone who cares about the sport, like, this is something that was going to hit in a very, very real way. It's such a tragic loss.
You know, for a guy that had been around the races for so long, his rivals actually didn't like him. You know, they respected him, but I thought the statements from guys like Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Carson Hocevar, who just won at Talladega, who is thought of as this aggressive driver, well respected, but he was never really tight with that. But on the other side of the token, there were drivers that he brought under his motorsports banner that he nurtured, guys like William Byron. Bubba Wallace had a really painful to read caption. He was Bubba Wallace's mentor, and when Bubba was going through his stuff during COVID, Kyle Busch was right there by his side. So he had his tight-knit group there. But when he had a beef with somebody, that maintained. Like, that wasn't just a work. You know, he kind of lived it. Again, this is a guy that didn't speak to his brother for months because of things that happened on the racetrack. And you kind of miss that intensity. People like that type of intensity. He takes his job home with him. He takes that beef, that rivalry home with him. He cares the way that sports fans care. And now that's gone from the sport. He's like a throwback type of dude. And I'm really going to miss him. And I'm really, really sad about this. I will watch the races this weekend. I'm sure Indy will do something. I hope Formula One does something when they're in Canada. And I know NASCAR is going to knock it out the park in Charlotte. This is a truly tragic situation, and my heart breaks for his family.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is terrible without Darth Vader, and so somebody has to step into that void and fill it. Mike, is it accurate? My guy, Jesse Marshall described it as this generation's the Kobe comparison is apt as far as this goes, that Dale Earnhardt was one thing, and the successor to that vibe, to that bad guy role, was Kyle Busch. Is that's an accurate depiction? Sort of like Kobe took over for Michael Jordan, chip on the shoulder, willing to play a villain to some percentage of the fans.
Yeah, I mean, you had Jimmy Johnson doing his thing, right? And Jimmy Johnson is this, classic good guy. He was dominating the race, and you needed a couple villains. The Busch family kind of slotted in that, and Brad Keselowski, when he was at the top of his form, that rivalry was really intense, and you can tell that there is still some heat between the two, even in Brad's statement that he put online. Yeah, dude, I need bad guys. Motorsports is better for it, and I root for the heels in wrestling. I'm a Dale Earnhardt guy. I like Carson Hocevar. I like what Kyle Busch was bringing to the table here at the latter parts of his career. Also, my favorite car is the 5 car. Kyle Busch raced under the 5 car for a little bit, so I've always had.
You root for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, well, Hurricane Hocevar. Yeah, I root for the Miami Hurricanes. Yeah, I like guys that wear the black hat and are comfortable in that, and it doesn't feel like a put on, right? In combat sports, that's how you make some money, but sometimes it feels like such a put on, and it's ham-handed. Kyle Busch wasn't a super nice guy. In fact, I think this is one of the first times we're going to play a hang-up where Dan's a person hanging up on a guest.
Right.
Because Kyle Busch did join our show, and Dan, in typical Dan fashion, was always asking about what Kyle Busch was known for, which was these altercations. Kyle Busch didn't have time for it, and Dan met that moment.
What was the most memorable brother fight that you guys had? You guys had to have good brother fights, no?
Oh, yeah. There was definitely times where, it came down to maybe a little throwing match or screaming match, whatever, but really can't remember the exact subject it might have been over. So all in all, it's just no different than any other brothers, I'd say.
But, Kyle, you're always fighting.
I am.
You're not?
Not that I know of.
You haven't fought with a bunch of people like Kevin Harvick and that old guy that you fought, Childress?
Yeah, all right. Well, just keep bringing them up. Who else you got?
Well, okay. No, that's my list. But it's a lot with Harvick. It's right. It's not 1 or 2 with Harvick. It's a lot with Harvick. No?
I don't know.
All right, Kyle, good talking to you. We're done here. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
What happened there?
Dan was in the wrong.
Dan
was in the wrong there.
What happened there?
Dan was absolutely in the wrong there.
Like, you would have thought you were talking to someone who was a Boy Scout.
You can hear the trademark Dan Le Batard double clap to wrap it up there. Yeah, the blackjack dealer saying good night.
All right, Kyle, good talking to you. We're done here. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, not a gearhead, Dan. Anti-gearhead.
Terrible loss for the sport, for the sports world. Yesterday, Kyle Busch passes away at 41 years old. I'm sure, I would imagine sometime in the next couple days we'll get more clarity on what actually happened, but don't know if it really matters. 41 years old, a wife, 2 kids, passes away. NASCAR icon Kyle Busch. With no good way to segue, we will try. During the basketball last night, Dave Damashek, I did some good hate watching last night, man. I'm watching. So, in the Zaslow Mansion family room, I'm watching with my son, my younger son, Jordan. And he knows I want the hockey on the big TV, but he wants the basketball. So, we got the basketball on the big TV, and I got the hockey on the small one. And so, every time something happens in the hockey, I point. I do like the DiCaprio. I'm pointing to the small TV every time something happens. What was it? 20 seconds into the game, Carolina. 33 seconds into the game, Carolina goes up 1-0. I'm like, damn it. And then just an avalanche A barrage
They're
of
playing the Western
goals.
Conference, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah, don't talk Avalanche. It'll get confusing for the
A
audience.
barrage of goals for the Habs. And all of a sudden, don't look away. It's 4-1 before you know it. And the Canadiens, they got a little bit of that pushback in the second period from Carolina. But the Canadiens, they respond. They blow out Carolina 6-2. And a tale as old as time. The Carolina Hurricanes, they cruise through the first round of the playoffs, which are divisional playoffs, the first two rounds. They cruise through the divisional rounds, and then you get to the conference finals and you play a real team. All right, the Panthers who sweep that ass or win in 5, and now you got the Canadiens who take that ass last night. Dave, that was excellent hate watching that was going on in the Zaslow Mansion family room last night.
Yes, I was living vicariously through your social media feed watching that game, and it also occurred to me watching that alongside with what's going on in MSG and the Wemby v. Emerging Dynasty battle in the West and all of that. And once again, I'm reminded that even though, and I've made the case already, and I've seen some other high-profile people jumping on with me, parking their cars in the same garage with me, that the NBA playoffs this year, once again, have largely stunk.
Yeah, not great.
And the Stanley Cup playoffs have been compelling as usual. So through 2 rounds at least, the hockey has been way better. And yet, you get the sense that the sports gods just like basketball better. Because now what you're about to get is the Knickerbockers, the New York Knickerbockers with Ben Stiller and all the famous people sitting courtside watching the generational freak that is, or I shouldn't call him a freak, I should call him the alien, because again, we don't want to confuse these things, playing against Wemby or the aforementioned perhaps dynasty in OKC. And in the meantime, you're going to get a Canadian team playing maybe Vegas, the best team in the NHL, the Avalanche, may not make it because they're great defenseman. Cale Makar, the best in the business, didn't play in game 1. Things are murky going forward there. If you get the Golden Knights, who have no business making a deep run here against the Habs, it's going to be kind of unsatisfying if you have been watching NHL this NHL season, right, Roy? I mean, it kind of feels like, how did these two teams wind up in the final with all the high-end teams that we've been watching this season?
Yeah, the Hurricanes are 1-17 in the last 5 conference final series, including last night's loss against Montreal.
I get where Dave is coming from, especially when you apply the context of this season, right? But you mentioned the Habs and the Golden Knights making the Stanley Cup. That's happened this decade. You know, we've seen that. Carolina's always losing in this round. They're 1-16. They got that streak going for them in this round right now. They're not like the Habs that have made it to the Stanley Cup final in this decade. So Carolina's got a real thing going on right now. Roy, are these people just playoff format capitalists? They're just constantly capitalizing on this weird, kooky format that has 7 and 8 playing in the first round. Flat track bullies.
Put it on the poll. Are the Carolina Hurricanes capitalizing from this kooky format?
I keep mentioning that this format is old. They did this before 1994 in the National Hockey League. This divisional format.
And let me tell you something. I've done this 3 seasons in a row, daring people to clip me, to finally have this player shut me up. And he's been disappearing this entire postseason. Aho, where are you, pal? Wait. I know that there was a classic vintage spot for you to get one of those trademark goals when you're down 6-2 yesterday. This guy is so overrated. He goes into a shell. If I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan, it's now or never. We are going to flip you for somebody else. This guy just goes in hiding every time it gets tough. What a terrible guy to have as the face of your franchise. He doesn't ever rise to the occasion.
Go on.
He's a fraud.
Well, I do think you can relate to this as people steeped in Miami Dolphins stuff. Tua, just because the Dolphins chose to pay him like a franchise QB doesn't turn him into one. You're trying to position Aho as somebody who is on par with the true superstars. That's what's ailed the Canes all the way here, is that they don't really have that high end. They will overwhelm you. And I do, by the way, I'll go all in here right now. I don't know if this is a hot take. I still think the Canes are going to win that series. But I just think that they lack for that singular superstar leading the way who's going to make the difference. You can position Aho there because, he's the long-tenured, borderline star of that team. I don't think
you're making
actually
my point.
Rises to the level.
You're making
I
my
don't
point.
think he is that.
Because he has been the face of their franchise. They're always in this round. You would think a face of the franchise that finds himself always in this round would do something for them in the postseason, but that's not what Sebastian Aho does. Sebastian Aho, when the going gets tough, he gets going.
You ever heard that phrase, Dave?
I don't think that I've heard it, but I feel like Mike has turned it into something new.
I did.
Go out the door.
He gets going out
away
the door.
From the
That's why I did it for emphasis. I took my thumb and I threw it behind me because he's invisible.
Out of the pressure cooker. Right. Right.
I mean, the only time they can get anything out of Jarvis this postseason when they move him off of this guy's line.
Now you say
he's a bad hockey player.
Whoa.
He's a bad hockey player. Jesus. And I've been doing this for 4 years running. I've been begging this guy. Come on. Shut me up. Do something that isn't a goal when you're down 4. Lead your team to victory with an iconic performance. Give me 3 dimes in a huge game that your team needs. That's not what you do, Sebastian Aho. And I hate to be the one that motivates. I hope you see this reel. I hope you find it inside you some way.
He'll see it.
Somehow. To finally answer the bell. How are the Florida Panthers winning again? Because of Sebastian Aho being out on the ice.
Yep. Now, Dave, like you say.
This hate's turned you ugly.
Oh, I love it.
He's a bad hockey player.
I love it.
You cannot build around this guy.
I love it. These Carolina Hurricane fans in my mentions on Twitter, you think you're so good because you get through that Metro Division gauntlet again. All right? You get your ass kicked, and you like it every round, every year in the Eastern Conference Final. Now, Dave, you do mention it'll be a Canadian, or could be a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup Final, and that is going to get overshadowed by the NBA, which it will, but, we're not just talking about a Canadian team. We're talking about the Canadian team.
Bleu Blanc et Rouge.
It's the Canadian team. It would be a monster if Montreal is back in the Stanley Cup Final with a real chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Of course, they were the last Canadian team back in 1993 to win the Stanley Cup. I can't wait for those games 3 and 4, game 2s tomorrow in Raleigh. But New York, if it's New York and Oklahoma City too, but if it's New York and San Antonio in the NBA Final, that'll do a number we probably haven't seen in a really long time.
Yeah, first of all, it might sound counterintuitive, but I've advocated over the last couple of decades that the NHL probably would be better served acknowledging that they're just a regional sport, not trying to win over the Sun Belt. Now, I'll Jerry Orbach it and say when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, and because I feel like it has now fully, obviously you guys down there in Miami can confirm this, I feel like it has taken roots. The Florida Panthers are a thing for generations to come. Mm-hmm. So too are the Dallas Stars, and there are a few franchises, below the Mason-Dixon line. I do ultimately hear what you're saying, Zaz. I don't think it's bad for the sport. The weird 21st century sports fan thing of caring about the ratings is generally odd to me. Except I feel like the NHL fans, and Roy can attest to this, it's a little bit like your favorite band being off-label. You feel like you have to tout it a little bit. I do, though, think even if the ratings aren't great because it's a Canadian-based team, it ain't bad if it's not a Canadian team, it's the Canadian team getting into the Stanley Cup Final. I think it gives the sport a certain shine.
Mike, what is the greatest hate watch you've ever had?
Ooh. I got to tell you, I was pretty raw about LeBron leaving. So that first year,
2015 finals was a great hate watch.
I remember screen capping Juwan Howard from the Heat bench when the Heat won on Christmas.
That was the Danny Granger game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, and then I lamented the nation and how they treated the Miami Heat when LeBron was on our team, and then when LeBron left the Miami Heat to go back to Cleveland, I totally got it. It is fun. It is really fun. Previous to
2015 NBA Finals was an incredible hate watch.
In soccer, there's a lot of hate watching for me, and I got to admit, like a little part of me died watching Arsenal finally not bottle something and win the Premier League.
That's why I thought Greg Cody was nuts the other day when he says it'd be the best story for the NBA for the Knicks to win the finals. There'd be so much hate watching that goes out the window if the Knicks were to finally win the championship.
Zaz, if you were to ask me to list like my top 25 sporting events that I ever just sat down and had a ball watching, the Orange Bowl between Georgia and FSU after FSU got shut out of the Natty, where it was like 70-3.
Right.
That was so great. I was howling.
I'm surprised that you guys, AFC East people down there, Dolphins fans presumably.
No, you're gonna say it, and it's mine. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, okay. The undefeated Patriots losing to the Giants.
Yeah, that's my greatest hate watch. Yep. Mm-hmm.
The thing to keep in mind with that one as we get further and further away from it, and history will sort of forget about this detail, is the Giants were not that formidable. I mean, that's why
they were a wild card team, right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think if I don't know who would have won the division. Was that Romo's Cowboys winning the division that year? Either way, yes. I mean, what is satisfying to anybody who hate watched the Patriots and kept watching them win Super Bowls with Belichick and all that, and the inflated footballs and the videotapes of practice and all of that. Still that for all the achievements, for all that they accomplished together and individually, that they're never going to get that moment back, and it has to drive them crazy. That no matter what else they did, you knew in that moment, and you knew Tom Brady and Belichick knew it too. Whatever else we do from this moment forward, we're never going to be in this spot again. 18-0,
right? About
to become eternity's greatest team, and we blew it against Eli Manning, no less.
No, that's my greatest hate watch is that 2007 Super Bowl. I had I had probably 5 or 6 friends over my house. This is before I had kids. Had 5 or 6 friends over to my house, all of us Dolphin fans, to watch that, to all hate watch it together. And I'll never forget, I never cared more about a game that did not involve one of my teams. I was never more emotionally invested than I was that night. And I'll never forget, we're all sitting on the couch, and when Eli Manning escaped the pocket, when he escaped the grasp, not when Tyree made the catch, it was when Eli escaped the grasp and he rolled out. All of us, as a collective unit, leapt off the couch and inched closer to the television, because everybody knows, the closer you get to the TV, the more important the play is. We all leapt off the couch and inched closer to the TV, and when Tyree makes the catch, we were jumping around the room. Oh, it's my greatest hate watch. Roy, your greatest hate watch in which Penguins Stanley Cup final was it?
No, it was actually the 2000 national championship when Oklahoma beat FSU, because Miami should have been the national championship.
Ah, how about that? I didn't see that coming. Good job out of you there, Roy. Jeremy, greatest hate watch?
For me, I want to agree with you guys on going anti-LeBron. I was happy when McBob was signed by the Miami Heat. But for me, I was just talking with Mike about it back here. I actually think the final few games of the 2017 college football season, watching Miami collapse after starting 10-0, because down here, I was the lone UCF fan shouting into the void, this UCF team is so much better than this Miami team.
Was that the year UCF was undefeated?
The first of the 2 seasons in which UCF was undefeated. And it was the year we ultimately rightfully claimed our only undefeated national champion. And as I was watching all season long, I was working at WSVN, hand logging every play of Miami's season. So I was watching both of these teams intimately and going, man, I don't know about this Miami team. This Malik Rozier is not a very good quarterback. I don't know why all of you were talking like this team is better than UCF.
They beat Notre Dame.
And ultimately, cool.
Hey, they were
and
fraud.
they won at FSU.
Yeah,
like,
oh
it was
my
a big
God,
deal.
They
cool.
were fraudy. Like,
They were a little fraudy, and it was fun.
But they gave us great memories that year.
Yeah,
Great
and
memories.
everything you're talking about and all of the bravado that existed around what felt like a fraudulent team to me, as I was being talked down to about the greatness of my team, made it for the ultimate collapse to be delicious for
Roy,
me.
You were rooting against FSU in that game. Like, correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong here, but Miami famously beat FSU that season.
Yep.
There were Miami players in the stands because the hope was, had FSU defeated Oklahoma, Miami could claim a national title, and the AP was probably positioned to hand them their title.
Interesting.
You had the BCS and the AP, and in that era, it wasn't uncommon to split a national championship. So Miami would have won a national title, I think, provided FSU beat that Oklahoma team.
But you know what? I could see Roy's point, because even if what you're saying could have possibly happened, we'll never know for sure. By FSU getting their shit kicked in that game, 13-2, pathetic. By FSU getting their shit kicked in that game, it just increases the arguments that they didn't belong.
They
It should have been
didn't.
Miami.
No, but Miami also would have beaten the crap out of that Oklahoma.
They
team.
would have.
Absolutely.
They would have.
Beaten the crap out of
They
that
would've.
team. And one of the biggest fights I ever had with Bomani, where he's like, no, Terrence Marshall and them boys, and Josh Heupel and them boys.
How Josh Heupel? He coached the second straight season of UCF being undefeated.
That Miami Hurricanes team in the Orange Bowl would have destroyed Oklahoma.
Tony, greatest hate
What's
watch?
interesting?
Sorry, Dave.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tony.
No, please.
No, you.
No,
No,
you.
No, guys, let me go.
I think greatest hate.
Louis,
Let me
you
just
go.
interrupt you real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead. Dave?
Tony, you're
Dave?
going to go, yeah?
No,
Dave?
How about
Roy?
No, Louis, you go.
all right? Damashek, toss it to Tony.
Take it away, Tony.
All right, Tony, you go.
All right, Dave. So,
But Zaz.
one of the best hate watches for me was when the old man Warriors, nobody thought that they were going to be able to get back to the mountaintop. Who they see? The young Celtics. This is the next team, the Destiny team, the Dynasty team. And the Warriors take care of business as. That for me
That was
was
a good
like
one.
watching Steph. And I remember Mike saying, like, Steph has to do it here, because if not, he's been a passenger this entire time.
He
He's not
answered
been
the
a
bell.
driver.
Unlike Sebastian Aho, he answered the bell.
I don't know who that guy is, but I agree with you. And then all of a sudden, we saw that team turn back the clock one last time, defeat a Celtics team that everybody thought this was the next dynasty of the future, and then derail them, even though they won a championship after that.
Dave, sorry, Tony cut you off there.
Dave?
I was just going to point out, I apologize. Do you guys feel it in the Sunshine State that it's a weird energy that all the rest of football America, with the rise of Jimmy Johnson and then Steve Spurrier, Bobby Bowden was kind of likable, but ultimately Florida State is not likable. I think the other 49 football-loving states just dislike all three of those teams for sort of jumping what we knew to be the blue bloods of college football about whatever it is at this point, 30, 40 years ago.
It's interesting that you say that, because yesterday, like I said, I did ESPN radio yesterday, and we were talking about, based on the Oklahoma City Thunder, we were talking about teams that went from likable to the villain in such a short period of time, and a caller brought up the Hurricanes. The Miami Hurricanes. I mean, F the Carolina Hurricanes. The Miami Hurricanes, how it's actually the opposite now with the Hurricanes, where they're likable. And I wasn't so sure about that. Like, I don't know. Like, are the Miami Hurricanes in a spot right now, because they're kind of back where until they actually do some winning, do people like them now?
I think last year was probably the only time that you could argue that, and unfortunately for them, in the championship game, they were this great underdog story. They vanquished Notre Dame. I think most people wanted to see Notre Dame
beating
miss
Ohio
out.
State's good too.
Beating Ohio State, the reigning champion, as a big underdog, like that stuff was
Everyone
great.
was probably rooting for Ole Miss, though.
And then, as Dave is always so ready to point out, they ran into the greatest underdog story possibly ever in the history of the sport. So we were kind of outmatched there.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting that the Canes maybe not as hated as
well,
they
it's
once
sort
were.
of what Mike was talking about with Kyle Busch ultimately becoming the guy you root for, even though he positioned himself as the bad guy. And I guess it goes back to Donald Sutherland's line, which I can't summon in Animal House, about is it more fun to be the devil than it is to be an angel, and all of that kind of stuff. It is interesting that when you consider what the Canes are, which they're positioned as the bad guy in two major instances. First of all, Catholics versus convicts. I think as you look at that, I think it's probably a 50-50 split. People hate the Pius, the team that resides up on Mount Pius, aka South Bend, Notre Dame. They're more loathsome than the Canes are. And then the other one,
Hold on,
everybody
Tony,
hated.
go.
Dave, sorry, go ahead.
Coming up today on the Alley Oop, whatever Alex Caruso is getting paid, he needs to be paid more. And whatever the referees are getting paid, they need to be paid less.
Also, James Harden, sit your ass down. Also, Kenny Atkinson, use a goddamn timeout. Lock in. We went off in the full episode.
Man, this full conversation was one for the books, bruh.
What is the Nick Bobick?
It's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobick. Banana Bofick. Me, my Momick. Nick.
Rosanna, Banana, Rosanna, Banana, Rosanna, Banana.
I'm the kind of guy that Nick. Who made it the salad? Hey, Butterfinger. Who made it the salad? Nick Bobick. Who made it the salad? Georgia.
That's not correct.
Very good.
It's a parrot that says very good out of the side of its mouth.
That's correct.
What does this have to do with the name game?
I'm not going to take a quiz. Nick Bobick. Who made it the salad? Me, my Momick. Let's go States. We're rolling now, huh?
That's not correct.
Doesn't make it right. Don't go showering to try to please me.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on? Do you like
dangling?
Breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
sexy
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many times.
A little pelvic thrust situation?
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked.
Intimate.
Dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
sexy
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Have you ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
you should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro,
No.
but I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few
brutal.
good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's
That
not,
is
you're not
brutal.
man enough to know the truth. I
You can't handle the truth.
Still no.
That's
Don't know?
it's a different
Damn it.
movie.
Seriously?
Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
That's
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on the
Bull.
poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a dolphin.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
You already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a
It's
name.
not a military theme, but I think he's a former military guy.
Okay, that,
He was a colonel.
There you go. Colonel Sanders. I don't know. I'm never going to get it. I don't know movies.
Wow, it's his only Academy Award.
The
Greg doesn't know
Scent
movies.
of a
Woman. See? I told you I was going to get it.
Your son had no idea where that sound
Where I
was
get it
from.
from.
This is
really?
2 generations of idiot. Pop
No.
culture idiot.
I knew it was Al Pacino.
Greg, you cannot listen to
De
what you
Niro.
just did for the last 4 minutes and say that is some sort of expertise that you're bragging about.
First of all, I speak for moviegoers in general. Al Pacino and De Niro are always interchangeable. They're always mistaken for each other. They're the same person.
De Niro could not have been the devil.
They've won the same awards. They're like the same people.
They were only in one scene together, like in their movie careers.
I know, but they're parallel lives. And you know it.
Put it on the poll. Do you often confuse De Niro and Pacino, and you know it? At Le
And you
Batard
know it.
Show.
You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering. Even by the standards of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where your son Michael asks you movie questions and you flail and fail and get them all wrong. Even by those standards, that was an amazing amount of ignorance.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting?
You guys were talking about the greatest albums of all time earlier, and it got me thinking about something that allows me to, instead of like throwing topics at you that nobody cares about.
Good.
Am I good to just be like happy about something for a second? Is that cool?
With a time constraint, but sure.
Okay, Roy, do you have a music bed potentially for me to just feel happy? Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
This is
Guys,
your theme song.
Yeah, I want to feel some joy here because I experienced something this morning that is one of my favorite feelings, which is waking up and knowing that one of my favorite artists has new music out. And knowing that I can like wake up in the morning and listen to it right at the beginning of the day. My favorite band is Bleachers. led by Jack Antonoff. Hold on, I'm being happy. Let me be happy. Give me a minute. My favorite band is Bleachers, and they have a new album out. I got engaged to one of their songs. My wife and I saw them on our 10-year anniversary, and they have a new album out today. And so I got to wake up and experience listening to that for the first time while I was on my bike ride this morning. And on top of that, Olivia Rodrigo, my favorite pop artist right now, has a new single out. And so I got to experience both ends of that coin, not just having the best music
Time's running out.
for my artist, but also another artist on top of that. It's an incredible feeling. I love being able to savor those moments. Guys, I think that's ultimately worth the toast. And Worth the Toast is presented by Cuervo.
All right.
Keep it fun. Keep it Cuervo.
There you go. All right, Cuervo.
You're so lucky that was sponsored by our great partners at Cuervo.
Good job there, Cuervo. Less of a good job, Jeremy, but there's a means to an end. Appreciate
All right,
you.
so even experiencing joy, not a thing I can do here.
So tonight we have the Thunder and the Spurs, Game 3, as that series shifts to San Antonio. Before we get to that here, I do want to go back to last night's game. Last night's game was kind of a dud in the second half. Like, the first half was fun. It was tight.
But there was a moment where a lot of New York sphincters were very tight because all of a sudden you saw the workings, you saw the foundation of a comeback by the Cavs that Mike Brown smartly called a timeout and basically stopped Uncle Mo.
Interesting, using a timeout when it seems that one team may have a little bit of momentum.
Exactly right. And the game was at, 16 or 18 points, and all of a sudden it started getting chipped down. And at one point it was 7. That's when Mike Brown called the timeout and said, hey, wait a second. And I'm learning from Kenny Atkinson and making sure that I call a timeout to stop whatever's going on here. And then they end up to get a 20-point lead.
So the Knicks, they take a 2-0 series lead last night, but I don't know if you saw this after the game. Josh Hart's meeting with the media. He's there with Karl Anthony Towns. And Josh Hart, not a big fan of analytics. We know analytics have taken control of sports. More information is usually a good thing. Josh Hart, not really into it.
I'm never a huge analytics guy. At a certain point, they're a lamppost to a drunk person. You can lean on them, but it won't get you home. So at a certain point, you got to have a good feel for the game. I'm not going to lie, that was Gerald Wright, his quote, man. So shout out Jay Wright.
Wait, hold up. No, we're not moving on from that.
That's a great quote.
Oh, my God.
Analytics drunk, lamppost to a drunk person? It ain't going to get you home. You can lean on it, though.
I was with Cal, so I didn't hear that.
You ain't even go to college.
I agree with him essentially. You know, if we get
Which
past
part? Cat didn't go to college?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, but the part about it being you can lean on it, but it's not going to get you home. Yeah, analytics are good. Analytics are good for information tool, but analytics can't possibly take into account everything that is going on in an individual basis. And yeah, I in general, I agree with him.
Analytics said also leave Josh Hart open by an average of 10 feet.
He was great last night.
And he hit 5 threes and was incredible.
And he started off rough. I think he was 0 for his first 3 last night. And it's like, and you could almost, you could hear the groans a little bit at the guard and crowds. Like, ooh, you've been terrible. You got bench game 1. You're getting open shots now. You keep shooting, you keep missing. But he ended up being fantastic last night.
Yeah, hitting big shots, making big plays down the stretch, getting big rebounds. He did the typical Josh Hart thing that everybody loves in New York. And a lot of the analytics were like, Asur Thompson, let's let him shoot. Let's let him do his thing. And they try to do the same thing.
Good job plowing through that.
Yeah. It's just try to do the same thing over with Josh Hart and just didn't work. Asur
Thompson.
Now, this is a really loose team. Tell me a team is loose when Josh Hart brings an entire pizza, New York pizza, everyone loves New York pizza. When Josh Hart brings an entire pizza into the post-game availability there with Karl Anthony Towns. He had a very important question as Tony simmers on the pronunciation of Pistons forward Asur Thompson. All right, you sit on that, Jeremy. And, wow, what kind of face are you making? What is that?
Seething face.
Jeremy's not going to sit on anything, buddy.
You're right.
His bike, listening to Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah. Love a good bike ride in the morning.
How about Josh Hart, though, here? Very important
Great
question.
song, by the way. Let me just interrupt you real quick. Really good
You
single.
had your time.
Dave, go ahead.
I'm curious. I mean, the analytics thing, of course, they're valid, but also they take away from future visceral joy of big-time moments, big-time playoff games, coming through in pressure or failing in pressure. That's what analytics fail to really capture. Either way, the discussion that I think people are trying to talk into reality is that the Knickerbockers might win the title. Do you buy that?
I do buy that. I mentioned this yesterday where I thought Game 2, all the injuries that are starting to take place between the Spurs and Thunder, I think is a pretty significant thing for New York. How could it not be? If these two teams are going to play a 7-game series, which they might, and look, we'll learn tomorrow if the Eastern Conference is going to be a long series or not, but what if the Eastern Conference is a short series and the Western Conference is a long series and, players continue to drop like flies out there. Already Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox is hurt. What if players continue to Jalen Williams, and then you have a healthy Knicks team that is there waiting for whichever team is left standing out west? Yeah, Dave, I think the Knicks can win the championship.
Touche, Zaz. Touche.
Tache.
So Josh Hart straight up eating pizza during the post-game press conference. Very important question for Karl Anthony Towns.
Are you a crust guy? It depends if it's garlic crust.
Okay, are you a crust guy is what Josh Hart asks Karl Anthony Towns, and Towns responds with, it depends if it's garlic crust. Now, my first question there is, do you think Karl Anthony Towns is saying it depends if it's garlic crust because if it is garlic crust, he then is a crust guy, or does that make him not a crust guy? Because my initial thought there is that he's not a crust guy if it's garlic, because garlic gives you the breath, and he may be self-conscious of that because he would have garlic on his breath.
I feel it the other way. I think he's saying, depends if it's garlic, because if not, that's trash.
So you're saying it depends if it's garlic because garlic is great,
yes,
and then it's worth the extra carbs because I love garlic crust.
Interesting.
I don't
the
know
hell
if he's
is
concerned.
garlic crust?
Sorry, Dave. Let me interrupt you. I don't know if it's worth being worried about the carbs if you're Karl Anthony Towns. I think this is more a flavor palette type of thing. Some people just don't like eating the crust.
Jeremy, Tony, how you doing over there? You all right?
Still not happy about the whole situation. Mike's
Yeah.
writing it down. He's going to give me a note at the end of the
yeah, that was tough.
end of the show. He's going to say Tony can't speak, which is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that was you heard us there.
It was a great point. Poorly delivered.
No one's going to remember the point.
I
They're just
know,
going to
and
remember
that's the
the
issue.
pronunciation. I never understand, Dave. I never understand when you're eating a pizza and you got homeboy who he leaves the crusts on the plate. What the hell are you doing? I'll never understand that. I've never done it in my life.
Wow.
That's people who choose to just survive instead of truly live, like you and me do, Zaz. That's why we get along. But go back for me. I'm aware of one, mid pizza maker that does garlic crust, but is that a thing that is become universal and I'm not aware of it?
I don't.
A lot of places offer garlic crust.
Yeah, I think most places offer, especially the chains. They offer.
Chains do, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is why you need the sauce to dip it in. The garlic sauce in this situation that you can dip maybe a bear crust into it.
How do we feel about stuffed crust? The crust that has the melted cheese in it.
Love stuffed crust.
Really?
Love stuffed crust.
Because for me, I don't do stuffed crust. It doesn't wind up tasting like crust. It's too soft
You're
and
a nuts
doughy.
man.
And no. I think you're on your own on this one. I'm not going to overreact to the really nasty thing you just said because you're having a hard enough day with your pronunciation from a Sore Thompson. But stuffed crust, that's the kind of pizza that I would leave the crust out. I would not eat that. That's not for me. Dave, how say you?
Well, listen, I think you touch on an interesting subject here. Some things sound better than they actually are. The sum does not equal the parts. Samoa cookies, obviously, Girl Scout people know that one. The Samoa sounds good because it has everything in it, but when you bite it, it's mid. I've had a similar experience or had a realization recently. Fajitas sound great, and I can get duped into them once every half decade or so on the menu. I'll look at it. That sounds good. All the stuff. Oh, they're sizzling. Oh, I'm the belle of the ball. Look at that. Everybody, all eyes in the restaurant are on me as I get delivered my plate with the smoke coming off of it, and it smells so delicious as it passes by every table. And how will I, as I put my princely meal together, maybe this one is going to have some green pepper in it. No, maybe some onion. You know what? Maybe both. But then you take a bite of it and you're like, it's all right. It's not that good. I should have just gotten a burrito.
Fajitas are top of the heap when you're at a restaurant and someone else orders the fajitas and you're like, damn, I should have gotten fajitas. Yep. Second place, and I haven't been to Burger King in a while, but when you order the fries, and I think they do this on purpose, they put the one onion ring in there.
There's always one. They want to let you know what you're missing.
I guarantee you they do this on purpose because you're like, damn, I should have gotten some onion rings too.
The onion rings at Burger King are so good, and it's like they're telling you, you're missing out on this shit. What are you doing?
They don't lead with them enough. They should. It is the distinguishing feature from their arch rivals. Get it? That they should be celebrated. We have onion rings. They don't. What are you even doing here, right?
You should be able to order fries with the one onion ring, and the order should be called the one-onion ring.
Oh. Now that's worth a toast. That's a great idea.
Extra
Give him the liner again.
Cuervo.
Can we read the liner again?
Wow.
Read that liner. That's worth a toast.
All right.
The one-onion ring?
Worth a toast is presented by Cuervo. Keep it fun. Keep it Cuervo.
Incredible.
Good job. That's
incredible.
From now on, that's how you drive.
All right.
I got this.
Wow, incredible. So tonight, Thunder and Spurs game 3. Series moves to San Antonio.
Tiramisu is also overrated.
He's right. Absolutely right. You are
Continue.
correct. 100%.
Thank you. By the way, there are 7 dozen versions of tiramisu. Sometimes it can be like in a pudding. Sometimes it's a cookie. Sometimes it's like a slice of cake. All suck.
What about
They don't suck. They're all C. They're all about like a C plus. It's that powder. It's the cocoa powder. It makes you cough a little bit. What do I want that? I want to.
He's right on that.
He is right. Moist. It's about like having a beignet. Yeah, you're always going to have a little cough before. You don't like ladyfingers?
No. And I listen, I like good dessert. I like a flourless chocolate cake, if you please.
Ew, what are you,
I'll
1,000 years old? What are you, old
pudding.
man?
Yeah.
Bread pudding.
I'm a man with fine taste.
You're
by
an
the
old
way,
man.
In the life resume, and everybody should put together their own life resume. At the top of my resume is best orderer of food I've ever known in my life. I've no one. I'm not talking top 10, not top 5. I am the best orderer of food off of the restaurant menu I've ever known in my life. There is not. I'm top 10 remote control handler. I do some things. I'm a great Connect 4 player, so on and so forth. But
you
the
lost
thing
in front of everybody.
What's that?
You lost Connect 4 in front of everybody.
No, I didn't. What are you talking
Mike
about?
beat you.
No, I lost.
Oh.
You know what? That's fine.
I devastated him. I humiliated him.
Bad day for you, Zach.
My boss.
Your punishment, eating tiramisu and fajitas.
So if I were to ask you, do you think that the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 2 were physical with Victor Wembanyama? Like, what would your initial answer to that be? Do you think? And Tony, you're allowed to talk again, even though you mispronounced the Sore Thompson very badly. All right, you'll be okay. You'll get over it. Would you say that they were physical with Wembanyama in Game 2? I mean, because Hartenstein didn't play very much in Game 1. He played a lot in Game 2, and he was very dirty. Would you say that they were physical with him?
I don't think he was dirty. I think he was physical, and that's what they needed from him.
Well, he was dirty.
I think he was physical.
Hartenstein wasn't necessarily dirty with Wembanyama, but when he's pulling the hair of Stephen Castle, what do you even if he didn't try to pull his hair, what are you trying to grab? Like, what are you pulling? That's not defense. Grabbing, so it was weird.
Agreed, but there was a lot of elbows being thrown, a lot of arm play, a lot of like grabbing the arm and not letting him go.
You know about that arm play, Dave?
I do think that going back to Ricky Williams, if you have long hair like that and you're out there in a contact,
But you're
sport,
allowed to
basketball,
do that in football.
I get it, but you cannot really charge somebody if your hand gets tangled up in your wildly long hair. You can't then cry foul because somebody got tangled up in your web.
But you know you're allowed to tackle in football and not basketball, right?
I get it. I'm with you that they were very. I think what you're getting at is that they were physical with him, right?
I think so. So here's Charles Barkley.
Yeah, me too.
Here was Charles Barkley last night inside the NBA on ESPN, and I hadn't heard anyone say or give the opinion that Barkley had here on the way they defended Wembanyama.
I watched the whole game.
Hey, nice
and,
flex.
Well, it's going back and forth between that and the hockey game, not going to lie. You people at home and on TV talking about they were physical with Wemby. Man, y'all need to stop it. I've been kissed harder. Hardenstein, I love Hardenstein. But he just put a body on Wemby. It wasn't overly aggressive. He didn't hit. There was no excessive fouls. But for you people thinking that's physicality, y'all need to shut the hell up.
I mean, the hockey has been really good, Dave. Like, you could understand him flipping back and forth between the hockey and the basketball, right?
I mean, listen, I don't want to get up on Mount Pius, but I'm with Nick Wright on this. I do not get these guys. I love Chaz Barkley, obviously, but I do not get these guys celebrating the fact that they don't love watching basketball. It's just bizarre to me that they consider themselves so untouchable that this is the declaration they can make. And, like, so what? What are you going to do about it? Like, I don't know. I would love for you to be consuming the subject matter that we're all indulging right now. How about that?
I don't care that the series shifts to San Antonio tonight. I feel like I don't have a pulse whatsoever what's going to happen in this game tonight. Like, this is the kind of series, to me, it does not matter if they're playing in San Antonio. It doesn't matter if they're playing in Oklahoma City. I think both these teams are going to be great. I think it's going to be a war the whole game.
The question is there going to be a guard that's going to be healthy and bring up the ball for San Antonio? De'Aaron Fox out, talking about a high ankle sprain where it's going to be hard for him to cut laterally. You got Dylan Harper, who's out with now an abductor issue. We don't really know what it is. It's not a strain. It's not a sprain. We don't know. And Stephon Castle's had 20 turnovers in 2 games.
Wemby is going to need some legitimately legendary performances if they're going to pull off the series.
Well, so someone asked me yesterday, right, if does Wembanyama have to have MVP performances in order for the Spurs to win the series? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, they're going against the defending champs who have the back-to-back league MVP. Yeah. They need Wembanyama to be the best player on the floor at least 4 times.
It's been the whole thing all season, right? That's been the storyline headed into this series. Mm-hmm. Is can Wemby summon the MVP effort, game in and game out, to overcome what seems to be like the most overwhelming team in the NBA by a decent margin.
And the thing was that the Spurs supporting cast has been really good all season. And so there was an elevation from Wemby, and you were looking at it as like, okay, maybe this is a relatively even matchup. Look at the way that they played. But now, with the injuries they've faced, with the turnover issues that they have, because they're playing against the defending champs, a team built to last, like, you're going to need not just MVP performances, you're going to need some of the best individual playoff performances we have seen in a conference finals for them to be able to win this series.
And he did that in game 1 and took him 2 overtimes to do it. And a legendary performance where 3 guys have done it.
But they led most of the game. It's not like they came from behind and they won. Like, they earned that game.
Still, but still, it took a monumentous effort from Wemby to even get that in double overtime. And, like, there has to be
Slow down.
I can't slow down. He's
monumentous.
It took a monumentous performance.
Yeah, let's look that up, see if that's right. Because there's words I remix.
Yeah, sometimes.
I'm saying there's words I remix sometimes and it works.
Wiktionary.
Thank you, Roy.
Hold on.
We're looking.
It doesn't seem like Wiktionary believes it's a real word. Let's see. Quora. That doesn't help. Merriam-Webster.
Okay, hold on.
What does she say?
No, that's momentous.
Momentous.
Yeah, AI is doing like a non-standard hybrid word, combining monumental and momentous. but it's not generally recognized in standard dictionaries.
That can't be true. Keep looking.
All right, I'm
Dave?
gonna keep looking here.
Pat Riley doesn't care that much. That's the good news. For you,
Charlemagne
Tony,
the
over your
God
other
on
shoulder.
Facebook says monumentous is not a real word.
What does he know?
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, Tony.
Yeah.
What was
I'm
the point I was
sorry,
trying to
buddy.
make?
Wow, you turned your mic off. All right. Just
his mic from him.
Just focus on regrouping for the next few minutes. all right, Tony?
Emasculated.
Yeah. You'll be okay.
Oh, man.
Monumentous move there by Mike Ryan.
Sorry, sometimes you got to take the ball away from the starter. He didn't want to come out of the game. That's all right.
took
I call
both?
the shots.
You took both his balls.
Yeah.
Dave, you were fired up earlier this morning. So I saw yesterday on Twitter how the reason I was tipped off is because I didn't see it on television where the guys on ESPN were talking about Aaron Rodgers. All right. And, you know, Rodgers, he claims it is his final year.
He's back.
He's going to play for the Steelers again this year, Dave.
That's right. He's
gonna be their
back,
quarterback
everybody.
again. That's right. And he has said it is his final year. And I saw the guys on ESPN were talking. I guess they were maybe Michael Wilbon was not speaking as highly about Aaron Rodgers as WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair would expect Aaron Rodgers to be spoken of. All right. So Ric Flair got very, very upset. And apparently, though, you, Dave Damashek, you are a little bit upset as well.
Well, I'm not upset. I do point out all the time because we're caught in a weird place where the youngs like Tony, they tend to, be prisoners of the moment on occasion. But the olds lionize the past to an irrational degree. And now John Elway, I guess, counts. It's surprising to me that he's not an old timer. I guess he now, because I'm an old man, he's now in the distant past too. But Michael Wilbon asserted that John Elway is obviously a far better athlete than Aaron Rodgers is, and my reaction is, "What the hell are you talking about, old man? They're both high-end athletes. John Elway was a supreme one. Obviously, he almost played for the Yankees, but Aaron Rodgers ain't no slouch. Who do you think? Who are you confusing Aaron Rodgers with? Peyton Manning or Tom Brady? Because those guys are tall drinks of water who could throw the ball, but they were not supreme athletes. Aaron Rodgers is quick twitch, as much an athlete as we've ever seen at that position, alongside John Elway, right?
I gotta tell you, I don't agree. Like
Why? What does he lack other than height compared to John Elway, Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, that's part of it because the size and power of John Elway when he would scramble. Now, Aaron Rodgers, I agree, especially when it comes to scrambling, evading pressure, throwing on the run. Every bit the athlete that John Elway was when he's behind the line of scrimmage, but John had so many iconic moments, and Aaron wouldn't really sacrifice his body because he didn't have the frame that John Elway had, and he played a different type of game. He scrambled to throw the ball, whereas John Elway scrambled to scramble most of the time. I think John Elway, it's fair to say, was a better athlete. Wasn't he drafted by the Yankees? I think that's
I just said that,
assessment.
and let me tell you something. Listen,
Steve
John
Martin.
Elway is one of the all-time specimens that ever played quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, I said this in October of 2010 before he beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 45. He will retire as the greatest, most gifted quarterback we've ever seen. I stand by that now. I was wrong that he will be remembered as the greatest quarterback of all time because what you're getting at, Mike Ryan, is that he didn't win enough times in January to achieve that banner. Nevertheless, I stand by what I said 15-some years ago, which is he is the most gifted athlete, the most gifted quarterback of all time.
I think Mahomes can probably take that mantle from him. I don't look when he was at the peak of his powers. Aaron Rodgers was my favorite player ever, and I would always say that
ever.
I loved him too.
I
loved him too.
The very peak of Aaron Rodgers was prior to Patrick Mahomes, the most outstanding talent I had seen at the position. Not the best quarterback because it's easily Tom Brady. He put that away. But he was often undone by bad coaching. He always was surrounded by mediocre
But he
coaches.
decided to return to that coach for one final season.
Not just the head man too. Think of all the lousy offensive coordinators that went on to be head coaches elsewhere that were absolute jokes that Aaron Rodgers kept employed by being so spectacular. I think his excellence kind of got in his own way because, and also the Packers not having this like cult of personality type owner that would say, what is this? What are we doing with Mike McCarthy? After that NFC Championship against Seattle, which is one of the more fireable offenses I've ever seen at that level, he gets to keep his job. Dave, what say you?
Well, I think Aaron Rodgers, if you're trying to evaluate the quality of the on-field stuff, he has two of, I'm subjective as it is, he has two of the 5 greatest single seasons that a quarterback's ever had. And yeah, I mean, what it comes down to is this is what you're getting at ultimately. We're talking all around it is it's the ring count. I know people don't want to apply the ring count here. If he had 1 or let's say 2 more, I think we would be talking about Aaron Rodgers as the greatest of all time, no matter how many Tom Brady did win. The difference is the funny paradox of Aaron Rodgers at 43 is he is still the name brand. He is still a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's still in the conversation at least to be one of the 5 best quarterbacks of the Super Bowl era. What he suffers from, though, is high-end athleticism and the fact that it is now gone. Well, Tom Brady did it. He won the Super Bowl at 45. Yeah, he never depended on high-end athleticism. Aaron Rodgers did in his prime. Now that that's gone, it's almost like a prize fighter who doesn't fully grasp that he can't get to the edge like he used to, or rather, even worse, he does know he can't. And so he is making decisions based on that. He's about to take a smack, so instead he gets rid of the ball more quickly than it otherwise might.
Yes, absolutely. Last year was painful to watch at times. He was wincing like Blaine Gabbert in the pocket because he knows he doesn't have it anymore, and so he gets rid of the ball super early, and he avoids contact altogether. Not to hang in the pocket and get rid of it maybe a little too early in an inaccurate pass. Like he just bails on plays, and it kind of jumps off the screen a little bit. That makes you, this is a little sad. But now that he is announced officially that this is his final season, I'm off that. I'm off all the stuff, all the baggage that comes with Aaron Rodgers. Now, this season for me, I'm not a Steelers fan like you. In fact, I'm far from it. But I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. And for me, this season is all about how many moments can you give me? How many times can you show that you got a dynamite throw in you in a big-time moment?
Right.
And I'm in on that. I like that as a storyline entering the NFL season.
I think you're right. Put it on the poll, please. Was Aaron Rodgers wincing like Blaine Gabbert? Tony, are you prepared to contribute positively to the English language?
I am. American Heritage Dictionary includes monumentous. It appears in both older and modern texts, but at a lower frequency and sometimes with a slightly more literal or formal tone. So there is precedent for monumentous.
Ooh, when he used precedent right, I'll give it to him.
All right.
Dave, what say you?
I'm down for whatever you got to say there, 10-Day Tony.
What a monumentous
Thank
day
you,
for the show.
Again, I bring words into the lexicon that maybe don't exist.
Ooh,
maybe,
lexicon too.
You know,
flexing.
Maybe I remix them a little bit.
Well, flexicon.
But there's usually like a
You have
bit
an
of
old soul.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see, you know who Nolan Smith Jr. is?
Boy, do we.
Sure.
Linebacker for the Eagles. He now this isn't something that's terribly uncommon with athletes who have very fancy and fast cars.
Or Georgia alums.
He was cited for driving 135 miles per hour.
We powered through that thing in our throat.
I didn't think anyone noticed.
Oh, they noticed.
And it had me thinking, how fast are you going on the highway where you then check the speedometer? Like we've all been through this before, right? Where you're in the express lane and you're on the highway and you hadn't looked at your speedometer in a while, and then you look like, oh, I'm not talking about you might get a ticket if a police officer sees you. I'm just like, oh, we gotta take our foot off the gas a little bit right now. It's a little bit too fast. Like, Dave, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it's a product of how good your car is. I think that's where it starts. If you have a really fancy car, you can hit 100 without realizing you're doing it, right?
Well, so is that what it is for you? If you get to 100,
yeah. When you're chasing,
I'm not a car guy.
When you're
I'm
chasing
not Mike Ryan.
would be fake federal agents.
Because every
Yeah,
now
that's
and
right.
then I'll get over 90. All right, you boys got a need for speed, and
with flip flops on, crazy.
And if I get to like 90,
He's wheeling down the Dave Matthews.
if I get to like 93, I start to like. It's a little bit fast for my liking. Let's slow things down a little bit here. 135? I don't even understand how fast that could possibly
It's fast.
be.
It's really fast.
Like I don't even know what that would look like if that went by me on the highway. Like sometimes Carl will go by me. I'm like, wow, that car must be going over 100. 100 is not even close to 135. 135 is so much faster than 100 miles per hour.
35 exact.
Yeah, no, yeah, thanks, Tony. Like, you got this type of confidence now just because you found one dictionary that has the word
The
that
American
you use.
heritage, yes.
I mean, let's take it easy.
135 miles an hour is so fast that you wouldn't, if you're going 70, it's almost double your speed. So, like, that's where he was. He was in a 70-mile-an-hour zone, and he's doing 135 miles an hour. Like, he is, and the question is, when you look at it, thank you, it's almost double. A little less. Was he just going 135 miles an hour the entire time, or did he kick it and then all of a sudden a cop caught him when he was at his peak of how fast he was going? Like, where is he in Georgia that he's flying 135 miles an hour with no cars, with nothing?
He's in Athens.
That's a good
What
question.
is happening in Athens,
They have an
Georgia?
Autobahn we don't know about?
He was on campus when he was cited.
But what the hell is going on there? This has been going on for at least 5 years now. How many Georgia football players have been arrested for speeding, doing triple digits in the car? I mean, it's really sort of, hey, Miami produces quarterbacks and Georgia produces guys who get arrested for speeding. It's really weird.
Do you think when the police officer pulls him over, he pulls up to the window, rolls down the window, like, does the police officer even say, do you know why I pulled you over? Right? Like that's always what they say. Do you know? Like I was pulled over a few weeks ago.
Oh, fight through.
Got choked up.
Oh,
I get it. It's emotional.
No.
Was it? No, take your time.
Yeah. It was scary. It bummed you out. I'm not surprised that you're caught up in emotion here.
I get choked up sometimes when I talk about, getting pulled over by the police. I got pulled over like a month ago. I had no idea why he pulled me over. I was being honest.
I'm good. Just a peanut got caught in my throat. In the meantime,
For the visual audience, the highlights are great. The highlights are great they show me during my inner monologue. I mean, come on. I was born to wrestle. Anyway, 135 feels fast. So, speaking of cars.
Do you think when the cop pulls you over, this is the thing that happened. Remember when Cincinnati, when the Bengals just kept getting pinched over and over again? And they used to always say, they would say like, well, the cops are looking to make a name for themselves. I think, in fact, the exact opposite is true. If you're an Athens copper and you pull a guy over and you're like, oh my God, it's one of the Bulldogs. I love watching you on Saturdays. They're not looking to make a name for themselves by arresting you. It's the exact opposite. So you really got to be doing something bad to get taken down to the pokey, right?
Right. The football team, the Georgia football team, probably gives most of these guys among the most joy they have in their lives.
Yeah, you got to assume a lot of them
You're
get
not
away with
looking.
it.
How you feel about that, Mike?
Well, I'm sorry, I was looking up a set. What I mean, I know I was echoing his point,
Dave.
But there have been over 20 arrests since 2023.
What?
Yeah, yeah. 20 people associated with the Georgia's football program have been arrested for driving-related offenses.
Isn't this the sort of thing that the
that is-
NCAA used to step in on? That when there was a pattern of bad behavior, that the overlords would threaten some sort of penalty against the school for this?
No, that's only Miami.
I'll take the fine.
So we're all over. We love any stories that involve Waymo, right? We're all over these Waymos. That's the driverless car. I saw one yesterday. And whenever I see them, I can't help but I have to peek in the driver's seat because not all of them are driverless. Like most of them are, but in some places there is a driver. And I saw one of the ghost drivers yesterday. I saw a driverless one yesterday. And how about for our visual audience, how about this photo here of there's flooding in this city. I don't think it's in New York City. I know New York City's been dealing with some very, very serious flooding lately. But there is flooding in this city here. And the Waymo, look at this, drives Dave, you see this? Drives straight head first.
Nolan Smith.
The Waymo drives straight into what looks like a pond. All right, like it's total flooding on this street. If you're a passenger, like you gotta be so nervous. You're this passenger in there. You know you're going head first. You're going right into this massive flood. Dave, I don't know if you've ever been in the Waymo, but Mike, I don't know, man. It scares me. I've been in one before.
No, I never say never. I would not. I'm not going to declare you'll never see me get into a Waymo, but it's sort of like a porta potty. I would never, sit down. Never number two in a porta potty, and you think who would ever do that? Somebody in an emergent situation. If I was in the middle of nowhere and the only option I had was a Waymo. Outside of that, though, there's no chance. What kind of daredevil in the year of the Lord 2026, given the evidence we have, is jumping into one of those things? Give me 5 years, maybe 10 years, and then I'll consider it when I see thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of people survive their ride in the Waymo.
When the government won't let you drive your car, you'll do exactly that.
That's right.
Tony believes in 5 years from now
To 10.
that we're all going to be.
That was the big thing I missed last week, where I just simply sat in awe listening to this show. It was monumentous.
Coming up on Mystery Crate this week, I have my top 5 guys in sports that connote horny.
It's a good list.
Tony, what do you got? What are you bringing to the table?
We're bringing high school pictures. Back in the day, we go through all of the cast members here on Mystery Crate, and we take a look at what everybody looked like in their high school days. I loved your picture, brother.
I loved my picture. I love Zaz's picture. I did not love. You're going to have to find out.
Oh, wow.
You're good
Hey,
at this.
hey.
Wow.
Wow, what a tease.
Plus, we find out what off campuses via Rose.
And that was
her
her off mic
explanation.
making a noise.
Fantastic.
Plus, old ass story, new ass story, all